Now with this one, we're looking at it, and this is what I talked about with the quizzes. The picture helps more than you can really know because it puts things in perspective in your brain. It's very hard with these problems to just look at the numbers and go, okay, boom, I can do this. You really want to lay it out. It's also important to note that we're talking about midpoint. That right there is a ton of information. So let me first draw the segment. So there's the segment AB. There's the midpoint Q. So what do I know about AQ and QB? How do those two pieces compare? They're equal. That midpoint's important because it tells me these pieces are going to equal each other. By the way, let me put down what our goal is. I actually want to know how big AB is, but I want an actual number for it. I don't want the expression 7x plus 4. I want to kick a number out. I'm also going to do this. If I add these little tick marks, that one little tick on each of those segments, that's a way of noting that those segments are equal in length or that they are congruent. We're going to have a lot of pictures with lots of information on them, so these are good habits to build early because it's going to translate to understanding later. I'm also going to mark what's given in the problem. AQ is 3x plus 4, so 3x plus 4. If AQ is that, how big is QB?
3x plus 4.
It's also 3x plus 4. We have these tick marks that show they're congruent. We also know Q is the midpoint. So what that does is it sets up some success here. I also know that AB, this whole thing, is 7x plus 4. Now, from what we've already talked about, this problem is very doable because where we're at, I can see my part plus my part equals the whole thing. The catch is that you need to remember this in order to put down this, because that wasn't expressly given in the problem. You need to remember what bisect means, what midpoint means, all this vocabulary we've used. So now I just have to write my equation. Oops, I don't want a highlighter, I want a pen. There we go. What's my equation going to look like? What's that?
3x plus 4 squared.
Close. 3x plus 4. How many of those do I have over here? 2. I can either do 2 times that, or I can just write out like I did before. Let's take the 2 parts and add them up, and that's going to equal that.
How does sum that?
Because don't look at this as this is not combined like terms. This is part plus part equals the whole thing. Part is 3x plus 4, and then part, 3x plus 4, equals the whole thing, 7x plus 4. Now I could also write 2 times 3x plus 4, because I've got, this is half of the whole thing, so I could write 2 times 3x plus 4 equals the whole thing. That also will get me to the exact same place algebraically. So I combine my like terms, I get 6x plus 10, 7x plus 4, do a little bit of math. So I subtract this from each side, gives me an x over here. Yeah.
It's not 10, it's 8.
Oh, it's 8. There we go. For a second I was getting a weird answer. And then subtract the 4 from each side gives me 4 as an answer. X must be 4 in this case. Now it's also worth noting, if this is a multiple choice test, that's going to be an answer listed for you to pick. Is it the answer to the question that was asked? No.
Wait.
The question back here was, what's AB? I've got X. So I really don't have the actual answer yet. I need to go back and plug that in. AB is 7x, so that's 4 plus 4. 28 plus 4 is 32. If this is a multiple choice test, your answers to pick from are going to be 4, 16, probably, obviously there's a 32, maybe a 24, and then a 32. And each of those is selected with the idea of seeing if you know how to do the problem or not. And based on what you pick, we can tell where your mistake was. Which is kind of good to know to look at next year. Doesn't do you any good right now? Because it's still wrong. The only right answer is D. So while it's good that you may have gotten one of these other answers, you have to make sure you read the problem carefully, see it all the way through to the end. Don't quit halfway there.
How do you know if it's like if they only want the X or?
You have to look at what the question's asking. That was horrific. This one, and I'll admit I added it after we started, but it was asking what's AB. So that's where you know. Some will say find X, some will say find AB, some will say find AQ. There's all kinds of ways they can ask these questions. But at the end of the day, you always have to go back and check, am I answering the question that was asked, not just where did my math lead me. That quiz, guys, again, we'll talk about that next time we meet. Just looking at that front page, we had probably at least 2/3 of us only do 8 out of 10 points on that first problem because you got me an X and you didn't plug it back in to tell me what the measurement was. And it happens. It's better to do it on a quiz than on the test, but you gotta fix it.